Well, hello there and welcome back to my channel. I am finally getting around to doing the farmer's market haul that I got the other day. So I got some heavy cream from Simply Natural Creamery in North Carolina, Rainbow Farms chicken. I got 4 split chicken breast, and then I got some farm fresh mushrooms from the local farmer's market. I also picked up some fettuccine noodles. These were a low-carb version that I just happened to see. I'm not necessarily low-carb, but I wanted to try them. They were okay, but they do have a definite texture. Of course, you know I had to pick up that hawthorn and hibiscus tea, and then I got some locally grown honey. I believe that was Half Moon honey. It is the honey that I always use in my sourdough and in my baking. It is Okay, so tonight I am making a creamy chicken Alfredo type of meal with some fresh mushrooms. So the first thing that I always do, and I highly recommend beyond a shadow of a doubt, is to preheat your cast iron. If you put things into a cold cast iron and expect them to cook correctly, it will not work. Make sure you are preheating your cast iron, please. I usually set my temperature at about 3 to get it warmed up. If the temperature needs to go any higher, which it rarely does, I will turn it up after I get the food into the cast iron. But I always start by preheating my cast iron at least 15 minutes before I am going to cook in it. Oven temperatures may vary, but please preheat your cast iron. Anyways, I already have my chicken cleaned and dried here. It is some split chicken breast. There are 4 of them. What this is actually for is me and my friend meal prep for lunches throughout the week. I am very bad about eating lunch unless I have something prepped and ready for me. And I also hate eating the same thing every day of the week. So me and my friend make 4 lunches total. So that's why I have 4 chicken breasts here. I am making 4 lunches total, and her and I will swap 2. So she gets 2 of mine and I get 2 of whatever she is making. So the seasonings that I used on the chicken were salt, pepper, garlic seasoning, and some Italian seasoning as well. I will lay that in my pan nice and flat. Actually, I decreased my temperature here, so just saying. It is very rare that you actually have to turn your cast iron onto a hot temperature. But I want to let that sear in the cast iron for a good little bit, and then I will give it a good flip. Just make sure you season your food. Salt and pepper is not the only seasonings in your cabinet. Season with your heart. You will see my dog's head pop up quite a few times during this video, and here he is. He loves to help cook, which is one of the main reasons I rarely sell anything out of my home. If I do, it is just to friends and family. Under cottage law, we cannot have animals in the house if we are doing any bacon. Of course, I can sell my eggs, but that is about it. Also, this is the day after I broke my foot, so you will notice that I have been hobbling around in this video, and I am sitting to cook, which I do not do. I do have a stool in my kitchen, but it is very rare that I sit to cook. However, my foot was hurting quite badly this day because it was literally the day after I broke my foot. So it is what it is. Once I got all of the chicken into the cast iron, I made sure to season the top of the chicken so that both sides of the chicken were seasoned, and then I got started on cutting my mushrooms. These I just very thinly sliced so that I would have a bunch. You will notice I am going to have an entire bowl full of mushrooms. Mushrooms are one of my favorite, I'm going to call them vegetables. I know they are funguses, but they are one of my favorite foods. And so the more mushrooms I can have in everything, the better. And my friend feels the exact same way. So the chicken wound up cooking for about 4 minutes on each side, and then I took it out of the cast iron to rest for a little bit. Well, after some very good doggy kisses, the chicken was finally out of the pan. I put a full stick of butter into the cast iron, let it melt a little bit, and then added in my mushrooms. There was still some salt and pepper residue left in the bottom of the cast iron, so I did not season my mushrooms at this point, but I will test them later and see if they need to be seasoned. It's going to take a little while for the mushrooms to cook down, maybe about 3 to 4 minutes, just depending on how many mushrooms you put in. I put in a bunch of mushrooms, so it's gonna take a little bit for them to cook down. But all that matters is that they have a nice butter bath to cook down in and a nice warm cast iron. It will do wonders. If you do not have a cast iron, you absolutely can cook this in a regular pan or pot. However, I highly recommend getting a cast iron. You can find them at your local thrift stores and Goodwills. If you cannot pay full price for them, cast iron will last forever, and it is the best pan to use. I do have other cookware. Cast iron is just my preferred cooking method. Okay, so once your mushrooms have finished cooking down, you have the option to add in a splash of bone broth, which I did. Is literally just a splash. And then I added in half of a pint of heavy cream. Once you add in your heavy cream, you can give that a stir, and then I add in 1 cup of shredded cheese. You can add more, you can add less. I think here maybe I have 1.5 cups, but I think it's literally just a cup. For this blend, my son shredded up Fontina cheese. That is probably completely wrong, but I'll pop up the name of the cheese onto the screen so that you know exactly what it was. You can use mozzarella, Parmesan, whatever you choose is completely up to you. Your cheese will melt down perfectly. I add in about 2 tablespoons more of Italian seasoning into the mix. You can add in a little bit of extra garlic powder if you want. But once you have all of that in and that cheese is melted nicely, then add your chicken back in. I turn the heat down low to about 1 or low once I add the chicken back in, and just let it sit and marinate in those juices for about 10 minutes. I am not gonna lie one bit when I say that after I got done filming this shot here, I forgot to continue recording. My foot was killing me, and at this point I was just trying to get done. Once I had my chicken in and had it covered in the sauce, I turned my heat down and I put my noodles on to boil. I let them boil for about 9 minutes until they were al dente, and then I left everything to sit and cool on the stove for about 30 minutes before I put it into our meal prep containers, and then I put it into the refrigerator. I completely forgot to film that, but this is the main important part of the video, so I hope you enjoyed, and please let me know if you make it. See y'all later.